Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, I know many people ask you questions when they're getting ready to sell their homes. So, what are the top questions that home sellers should be asking before they put their home up for sale?
Well, Richard, I think it's important to ask the right questions when you're hiring a real estate agent to handle one of your largest assets. It's not the same as purchasing a home. Purchasing is kind of, to me, like shopping on steroids. But when you're selling a home, it's a little bit more challenging. The whole process of getting the house ready for sale, making sure whoever you hire presents the home not only correctly with marketing, but with pricing, and can help you get to the finish line in a reasonable amount of time. And there are different specialties in the real estate business. And the funniest thing is there's no job description for this job. There's no how to. A majority of the real estate companies don't really have uh, instruction on how to be a listing agent or how to be a buyer's agent. I mean, they mostly teach how to keep the agents out of legal trouble, but other than that, there's not a this is the best way to do this or that. So even I just hired a very experienced agent, and she showed me her listing and I was helping her. I'm like, okay, obviously she's got years in the business, but it was clear to me she didn't have the training on how to really capture the heart and mind of the buyer with online presentation. So I'm helping her with that. And not everybody knows how to do it, and it's hard to find that kind of instruction. So first of all, you have to start with what is your strategy when you're going to sell the home. Some people don't want to go through the whole process of making their house fantastic, beautiful, like HGTV. They don't want to do that. And that's okay. That's a different strategy as long as it's priced right. And generally, even homes that seem to be priced right are taking a lot longer to sell because there's more inventory, the interest rates are higher, the buyers have more choices, and the builders absolutely are beating up existing sales with great incentives and buying down their interest rates and throwing in a few, free things like refrigerators and air conditioners and things like that. So it's hard for a home seller reselling a home to position themselves to be the best home on the block. Like I have one right now that right around the corner from this home that was built in the 90s, there's all kinds of brand new homes priced very similarly. However, they're not quite as big, right? But they're brand new homes with all fresh new everything. And so the first five showings, three out of the five agents gave the feedback that said that, oh, my buyer went and bought a brand new house. So if you have to compete with that, you need somebody that's really experienced to take care of that. So it's really, really important as the market kind of shifts between sellers and buyers market that you do the first four things right. Number one is picking the right agent, somebody that you have confidence that can get the home sold. I just met with a home seller yesterday, and she had her house on the market for 6 months, and she had a certain price that she wants to get for her home. And I think she only had one showing in all that time. And what she told me was, and it did not sell, and she's just kind of done with the whole mental process of, okay, my house has to look good every day because any day we could get somebody that wants to see it and maybe wants to buy it. So it's quite an effort to get this done. What we ask people to do in the traditional sales market is a lot more challenging than buying a home, which is again like shopping, very expensive shopping, which is fun. So you have to make sure you pick the right agent that knows how to do it, that knows how to promote the home so that your online presentation, both with price and with presentation, is excellent. And you have to price it right. So all those things, you have to pick the right person. So we're going to kind of cover a couple of the questions that you should be asking when you talk to agents about selling homes. And it's really interesting. Most people just pick whoever they worked with when they bought the home. Oh, she was nice. I knew her. Okay, but are they really skilled to handle selling one of these high-end type of assets. It's not like selling a car. So the number one question you should be asking is, how should I prepare my home before I sell it? We do this multiple times every single week. We come out, we take a tour, we take a look at the home. We give you tips on what to do, what not to do to get your house ready for sale, and then give you a really good idea what the market will command for your home and show you how much you'll put in your home in your pocket when it sells. Number two question, what is my home worth? So pricing is really the first impression right alongside those pictures. So I've been talking to a lot of people that are selling and buying, and they'll tell me when they're looking at homes online, they're only spending a few seconds before they're moving on to the next house. That's why the online marketing presentation has to be great as well as pricing, because you only have a few minutes to make an impression with a buyer as to whether or not they're even going to come see your home. No, they're not going to come look at it if it's overpriced. No, they're not going to come look at it if the pictures are bad. That stuff has to be right. So there are some agents that will sit down and go, oh, I can get you, way more than what the market will bear, blah, 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 right? And they're just doing that to get you to sign the contract. And then they'll let the other agents, if they do show, say, oh, it's overpriced and beat you up to get the price down. That's the worst thing you can do, because the longer it sits on the market, the more time the home buyer thinks, well, because all this data is online. You look at Realtor.com or any one of these websites, Zillow, it's going to say how long it's been on the market. So there's some agents out there still teaching, oh, take it off the market for 30 days and it'll reset the clock. Nope, that's not true anymore. Both Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com, all that data is right there at the buyer's fingertips where they can see how long it's been on the market. But at the end of the day, if you price it right, the market's going to pick your home not only to see, but also to make an offer, because the buyer has decided this is the best home for me right now. It's not Zillow that decides, it's not the seller that decides what it's going to sell for, it's not how much you're going to net in your pocket. It is the market that's deciding what it will sell for. And that's why these questions are absolutely so important. Another really good question is, how many homes have you sold in the last year? You might be surprised to hear, Richard, that half the agents don't sell any homes. And the other half, on average, are selling only 3 or 4 homes a year. A year. Now, I'm not talking a month. Okay, if they're selling only 3 or 4 homes a year, how do they know what's going on in the market? How do they know really what your home is worth? How much research have they really done? So that's a good question. And if you do it right and you hire the right agent, it shouldn't take very long to get a buyer to make an offer on your house. And it absolutely requires preparation, pricing, promoting it right, and of course, picking the right agent. Another good question, how long will it take to sell my house? Well, it kind of depends on those types of homes in that area. It can't be an average, because certain neighborhoods sell faster than others. Certain types of homes, like a ranch versus a two-story, sell faster than others. Um, but if it's priced right and it's marketed right, it'll actually sell very quickly. If you got those two things wrong, it could take months and months. Right now, the average days on market, if you look at all along the Front Range, is pretty close to about 100 days before they get a contract. That number is dropping right now because it is the selling season, but it's all about looking backwards and picking somebody that really knows how to do it. And the reason why the homes are sitting on the market longer, it's not just interest rates, because they've been pretty stable really since the rates went up in 2022. I think the difference is that the agents typically, when they tell a seller to price, they look at historic sales and they'll say, oh, your home is worth that much. But then when they put on the market, it's not working. Why is that? Because you have to look at the whole picture, not just half the picture, to help the seller decide how to price a home, what I call realistically versus optimistically. Then you've got buyers out there that have a house to sell, right? So how do you fix that problem? Those are some of the things that I would be asking somebody that you're interviewing. How do you handle it if somebody makes an offer and they have to sell a home before they can buy mine? That's a really good question to ask a real estate agent. Not everybody has a solution, but we do. My name is Barb Schlinker. We're the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show. And we're talking about some questions that you should ask to a real estate agent before you hire them. When we come back, we're going to talk about some more questions and some solutions that we have for home sellers. If you are thinking of making a move, give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
Barb, we're discussing the top questions that a home seller should ask when they're getting ready to sell their home. Everyone knows that I've been recommending you for years now. So tell us, what are some key questions that a home seller should be asking real estate agents?
Well, another good question is, how do you know that agent is really the best real estate agent for me? So a good question would be, what is your marketing plan? How do you plan to get my home sold? That's a very, very good question. Another great question is, how did you come up with your opinion of value? There are different kinds of values. There is the tax assessed value, which is the value based on sales that were 18 to 24 months behind the current market. And 18 to 24 months ago, that was when, prices were flying high, there were bidding wars before the rates went up. So it's a different value than what it is now. There's market value, which is what a buyer's willing to pay. There's appraised value, which is just an opinion of value, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the market's going to pay that much. And another really key question that you should ask an agent before you hire them is, how long of an agreement should I sign? And am I committed if I decide to make a change in real estate? Like, can I cancel? I've seen some really interesting situations where an agent might have signed an agreement with a seller for 6 months. So it's an agreement to handle the sale for this long, but the agent is not performing for whatever reason. The state contracts actually don't have anything in it about performance. They just basically have a lot of commitment stuff and how they're going to be a fiduciary for the seller, but there's nothing in there about performance. So you should get in writing whether or not, if you're not satisfied with them based on what they said they're going to do, which is built in the state contract, but you have to have in writing what they promised to do. And if they don't perform, can you cancel? That's a great question. And you know what? We actually offer to our anybody that's interested to go to barbhasthebuyers.com and click on the free reports button. There's some really great stuff that you could download for free on questions you should ask before you hire an agent. But if you are thinking of making a move, we'd love to talk to you. Give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, host of the program. Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Barb is the owner, broker with them. If you are listening and thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. And if you want a free report on the top 10 questions to ask before you hire a real estate agent, visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Go to the green button. It'll be in the upper right-hand corner. It says free reports. Click on that and you'll be good to go. Short break. When we come back, we'll be talking about what should you do if your home is not selling and how do you fix that. Stay tuned for that.